Jay here, that's Scotty, this is Scotty and Motty. We're back by Dope Demand, can we say that?
You scared of, you're like a Butlins presenter the way you call
I don't know why I do that.
Motty!
I don't know why, it's proper radio, innit? Yes, and today we'll be talking about Scotty and Motty, where we're going to be looking at top 5 Quentin Tarantino films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You sold it there, didn't you? So you're going to stay for the whole 50 minutes while we discuss top 5 Quentin Tarantino films.
Do you like Tarantino?
I love Tarantino.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you think there's this thing now, isn't there, where it's sort of like cool, is that the right word? Fashionable not to like Tarantino. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've heard that sort of thing. No one talks like that. You know, like his dialogue and whatever. And I think, well, that's part of the thing, innit? It's like, it's not...
You know you're watching a film. It's not a documentary, do you know what I mean?
I hate all that.
Yeah.
Do you know, like the whole...
Pretentious wankers.
Yeah. Like, well, that wouldn't happen. Well, no. Do you know what I mean? Have you ever sat and watched Star Wars? Do you think that's
I know,
like real?
yeah. Oh, well, don't get me started. We'll definitely lose some of our followers if we start getting onto Star Wars.
Well, it's like, all right, or Harry Potter or whatever, where there has to be a suspension of disbelief.
I mean, a lot of people aren't liking Harry Potter nowadays either, are they?
Oh, yeah. For JK.
Yeah,
well, don't say that in our house, because my missus is a massive Harry Potter fan. She, loves Harry Potter, and she's got my kids into it. And I'm kids with sticks. That's what I always call Harry Potter.
Yeah.
You know, I'm 42 years old. I'm not watching kids with sticks running around. You know what I mean? It's not for me.
But Quentin Tarantino is.
Yeah. Men with guns, that's different.
Yeah.
Or,
kids with sticks, no.
No. Men with AK-47s. Now you're talking my language. Go on, sir. Anyway, but first of all, before we kick off, I want to thank everyone who got involved with the return of the channel. We had a show out on Monday, didn't we? We may have recorded this at the same time. We don't just wear the same clothes all the time.
I've changed my top to try and give the impression that this was recorded, not after that one. Wait. You've let the team down. You're going to go and get changed?
We've got any hoodies in there, producer Callum? Right? We're going to do this.
Are you going to get changed on air?
I'm not in front of everyone. I'm going to step away from the camera and put a different audio on.
All right.
Just for the purposes of it's 2 separate videos. And we'll leave all this in anyway, because we're not going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to do that sort of music. You know, nobody needs to see that. Not even your missus.
Yeah, right, I'm gone.
I'll discuss that. So
you discuss.
Well, if you're new to the channel, we like to do these specials of top 5. So we've been breaking down things like top 5 comedians, top 5 gangster films, top 5 characters in The Sopranos or The Wire. And so tonight we're going to be looking at top 5 Quentin Tarantino films. Make sure you get your top 5 in the bottom. And don't just list them out either. I want to know the reason behind it. Was it a favourite actor in it? I mean, Samuel L. Jackson's been in God knows how many. You know, he's seasoned Quentin Tarantino. But music, you know, there's so much to go at on Quentin Tarantino films.
There is. He got an Oscar the other week, Samuel L. Jackson. Everyone always forgot that, didn't we?
I didn't even know.
Yeah, he got like an honorary Oscar, but everyone was too busy with Will Smith slapping up Chris Rock to notice.
Yeah.
It was like... it came just before that, but I think it was just because if you make 1,700 films, sooner or later, they're going to give you
throw enough shit at the wall. Is that what it is?
I reckon we could get Samuel L. Jackson on this. I reckon he's like Nick Cage. Do you know what I mean? If you've got a bit of dough,
have we got we got Samuel L. Jackson money?
No, I mean, to be fair, yeah, not Samuel L. Jackson money. Nick Cage seems to do anything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, Tarantino, massive part of my adolescence.
Yeah.
Seemed to change cinema. Do you know what I liked about Tarantino? And this isn't a particular original thought. I'm sure lots of people thought it before and who were watching it thought the same. He wasn't from film school, was it? He
worked at Blockbuster, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, a version of that. I think it's called Video Archives. It was, and he was like, but you're right, it's a Blockbuster type video. So, and I think he said a quote from him. He didn't go to film schools; he went to films. So he just watched loads of films.
Yeah,
learned, self-taught how to, sort of work a camera or whatever. Did make a very low budget film, didn't he? My friend's birthday, or my best friend's birthday, or whatever it's called. Sure. It's black and white, and I watched it once on a late night channel. Half of it's missing because they lost some of the negatives or whatever.
But still, it's an inspirational sort of story.
Yeah, that story I like that because it sort of shows you don't have to have gone to UCLA or whatever.
Because I mean, how many others are there like that didn't go to? Everyone's sort of been through the big film schools.
I think Spielberg didn't go. I think he.
No, because they didn't Spielberg, Lucas, and Coppola. No, they started their own production company, didn't they? Remember
Lucas
that?
and Coppola went to, I think, UCLA together. I think Spielberg, what he did was he made films himself and then got a job in television.
And then learned the trade that way.
And then went to, I think he did Duel or Sugarland Express, whatever it was. And then Jaws, obviously, the rest of the history. Coppola and Lucas and maybe De Palma as well, who were all similar age, all went to UCLA together, I think.
Yeah. Scorsese went to New York, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so. I know Oliver Stone, I think, went to UCLA much later, because obviously went to Vietnam first. But
Yeah.
the sort of...
So he's going up against these guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the moment,
yeah.
You know,
And
that's
he's
it.
not like, even, directors that we all know and revere over in this country, have gone through a film school of sorts, haven't they? But he was very much self-taught.
And I think that may play testament to why his films did change cinema in terms of they were very different to what was going on at the time. I mean, even if you paint the picture of what the 90s was like when Reservoir Dogs came out, it was very much, we were talking on the last episode, like Bruce Willis and all helicopters and stuff like that. It was very gung-ho, wasn't it, the 90s blockbuster films? It was always big guns and explosions or dinosaurs chasing cars and stuff like that. It was, wasn't it,
Yeah. To go up against that and
then to get like a
dialogue
heavy films, what makes you sort of
non-linear.
I'm like Pulp Fiction when I first watched it. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It really was that moment. I loved it. I don't know why I loved it. And you have to sort of, I mean, I must have like worn my DVD with these discs that you used to be able to get, and you put in the a DVD player.
Put them in your tape player. You couldn't afford a DVD player.
But yeah, I used to come home drunk, and then that would always put Pulp Fiction, and that was always my stuff.
It's quality. It's on quite a lot on Sky and stuff, but it was like you say, Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. Also, he had this sort of spate in the early 90s where he directed those two films. He'd written a few films like True Romance and Natural Born Killers. So it was like he was everywhere for like that 4 or 5 year period. We'll get into it anyway because I don't want to start going into the
right. What's your first one?
My first one. Is this not in any particular order?
No, not best.
I can't. I'm struggle to do that. I'm going to go with a film that I watched at the cinema a couple of years ago, probably about 18 months ago. And again, this sort of people have disagreed with this about, I didn't like it, and no one talks like that and all this, and it's not real, Even it's very violent, I heard someone say, when actually, if you look at the subject matter, it could have been a lot worse. And that's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed it. I was surprised how many people didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I got a really negative reaction. I think in uni we were talking about it, and I said, "Oh yeah, I like that." And it was like, "Oh, it's rubbish." Yeah, I was like, "I thought it was alright." Sort of misses to watch it and just enjoyed it from start to finish. Thought it was quite original the way he did it, as usual. DiCaprio, he's just mint, isn't he?
Best actor of our generation.
Yeah, he is. Don't let the fact he's stunningly good looking fool you. He's not just a pretty boy. He's just
ridiculous.
Brad Pitt always turns up as well. Really good film. Really enjoyed it. Like the sort of different sort of things that he did, where you've got like the program within, or the TV show within the film, and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of in jokes, wasn't there, as well?
There's all that little thing, and also the ending is Tarantino thing of the ending where he does something that's sort of based on real life, then changes what's actually happened. Because that made me laugh when people going, it was so violent. At the end, I thought, if he'd have shown what really happened, Because I was worried, I was with my missus, and I didn't know what the ending. I thought the ending was going to be the Tate Bianca murders, and I thought she's going to struggle with this. I thought it dawned on me as we were sat there. I thought I didn't think this through. Yeah. Because it would have been horrific to see that. And I was sort of panicking, thinking, I don't think this was a great idea.
It was great that what I really enjoyed about that, I mean, I think as his films have gone on, they've got more visually stunning, I think, from Inglourious Bastards on, just how he sort of, I don't know if his cinematographers changed during the time, but it was really great to look at. But the suspense, because I think many people knew about what was going to come. Yeah. It's like as soon as the film started, I was like, all right, we're getting these little, what was a buddy movie, really, wasn't it? And them two played off each other really, really good, but you know where it's going to, and I literally feel it coming towards you. I watched it with my brother, and my brother turned around and said, that was fucking shit. And I'm like, well, I've paid for it, so you've got nothing to complain about. But he didn't enjoy it at all, but I was like, I've watched it a couple of times and I really enjoyed it, because you do miss certain things, and I think the problem with it for a lot of audiences was that they weren't aware of the historical context of the film.
My missus was like, she didn't know, and I'm glad she didn't. I think if she'd have known, she wouldn't have come and seen it. Yeah, and it dawned on me, like I said, when we were there. But I thought the ending was great. I thought the like you say, the relationship between DiCaprio and Brad Pitt. and also like just little things like when he's filming that show, I forget what it's called, Matlock, I think it is. Or no, is it not Matlock? What is it? I forget the name of the show anyway. He's filming that Western TV show, which is a real show, obviously. And little things like the Sharon Tate character and going to watch her own film and then using real footage of the film rather than her. Little things that quirks that he does that I thought really well. The soundtrack as well, spot on. I love that version of California Dreaming that's in it. I thought it just a really enjoyable 2.5 hours. You know what I mean? Like sat there, I watched it, loved it. Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no sort of don't need to go too deep and like but it was just a good film to watch.
And he's written a book as well. Like, there's a book version.
Oh, is that?
It's not based on the film. It's an actual novel.
Ah, right, okay. Because he's getting a bit more like that, and I think he says he wants to quit filmmaking.
I think he said he's doing one more film, and there were rumours that he was going to be doing that, which I hope he doesn't do. That he was going to do a Star Trek film, but obviously it'd be Tarantino in space. Do you know what I mean? It's like Luke Skywalker calling everyone a cunt or something like that.
I like the fact you've mixed up Star Wars and Star Trek as well.
It's all the same shit, man. Space is space. I
Can't
mean,
argue that logic.
You can hate on me all you want, but
I'm not going
just,
to get into that particular
creaming
argument.
yourself over little hairy monkeys. Like Ewoks and fucking, do you know what I mean?
That's one way to describe Star Wars. What is it, 14 films, whatever there's been. Creaming yourself over hairy little monkeys. Right, there you go. That's the Return of the Jedi review.
Yeah.
So I'm putting Once Upon a Time in Hollywood in there. You've not disagreed with me. Which
No. I mean, I don't think we're going to disagree with each other.
There might be one.
There might be one that we disagree with.
There's one I don't like.
Oof.
So if you don't come to it, I'm not going to bother with it. But
Well, you're not going to pull it out, are you?
no.
So, all right.
Well, you might not name it.
Yeah.
There's enough to choose from.
Okay, interesting. I'm going to go for... Well, I'm just going to go Pulp Fiction. Let's get it out there.
That's original.
Yeah. Look.
I'll just pick the best one.
It's not... I don't think it's his best film.
Do you not?
No.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think it is. I'll come to what his best film is later, unless you come up with it. But yeah, I mean, like we said earlier on regarding the sort of the way it was, the structure and set up, the dialogue is just phenomenal. I mean, I think when he came out the gate with Reservoir Dogs and the sort of to-ing and fro-ing between characters, I think there's one scene, I mean, we're talking about Reservoir Dogs, where they're talking about tipping a waitress and stuff.
Yeah.
That felt like a precursor to what we're going to expect with Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
My introduction to Pulp Fiction was not a good one.
Go on.
So my mum and dad are watching Pulp Fiction in the front room, and
Right.
94.
Yeah, great shout. I think it is.
So I'm 13,
Right.
and I opened the door into the living room, and Marcellus Wallace is getting rogered on the on the screen. My mum and dad are watching it, and I'm thinking, what
was you questioning everything about
life?
What was going on in your
I
house?
thought, what sort of kinky shit are they into? Who's this guy with a pool ball in his mouth? Oh my God, what's that? What's a gimp? Do you know what I mean? It just, Pulp Fiction really opened my eyes to a lot of stuff. And thankfully, my mum and dad were just watching a film and not into any sort of weird sex games.
That must have been a massive relief.
Yeah.
When you realise it's just a movie.
Yeah.
It's not like film.
Can you imagine though, 13
Nah,
years
30 years
old,
old, like-
and you're literally seeing this huge guy getting rogered on telly, and your mum and dad are watching. I mean, what were they doing watching it on a Sunday afternoon?
I'd be upstairs packing my bags, going, "This ain't gonna work."
Yeah, we tried it.
You do you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do me.
I'm gonna see what that busking business is about.
Yeah.
Man.
Thanks for everything. Thanks for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
No, Pulp Fiction.
But Pulp Fiction as well. Just brought back so many actors and sort of shown them in different lights, because we were saying before about the 90s being very explosions and stuff like that. Pulp Fiction really allowed actors to show another side of them. I mean, looking at John Travolta come back from, he pretty much all but lost his career really, and he'd been stereotyped. What was he doing? Look Who's Talking Now or whatever and
just
stuff.
drivel.
Bruce Willis again, fantastic role for Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson
Launched him.
launched his career. It would do Uma Thurman. I know that was her big break as well. There were so many that were in there, and they all like knocked it out of the park as well. You know, it was just such a phenomenal film, and the soundtrack, mate, was just like it was everywhere for the 90s. Like you just couldn't.
Like,
you couldn't escape
you had
it.
kids in the 90s, and I include myself, listening to Dusty Springfield.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Which is, but back then, if you didn't have the context of it being in a film, and you turn around to your mates and say, "Well, you listen to Dusty Springfield."
Yeah,
that you would have got it.
man.
Yeah,
what are you on about?
yeah.
You're on that funny finished cigarettes again.
What you humming there, son?
Yeah.
Al Green. You what?
Yeah.
Do you know Al Green? Let's stay together.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
so many. You forget though. You know, like so many songs that are really good.
Yeah.
And like some classics and other ones. You
Tim
know,
Roth's another one as well. His career. Harvey Keitel. I mean,
Ving Rhames, the lot.
right. How do you do that though? Like you said, he comes out of like the American version of Blockbuster.
Yeah.
Reservoir Dogs, the cast, and then Pulp Fiction, the cast. It's just
he's the way he did it.
Keitel was quite
Harvey
pivotal,
Keitel. He'd seen it with Lawrence Bender, who had film connections, who became his producer. He had scripts that he'd sold, and he had this script that Reservoir Dogs one he kept. He sold Pulp Fiction, he sold True Romance and Natural Born Killers. They got Harvey Keitel. If you watch Reservoir Dogs, I know you have obviously, but Harvey Keitel is listed as like a co-producer or something.
Yeah.
So he championed him.
Right.
He went to a film workshop. He went to a film where he learned a bit more about the craft. I think it's like when I say a film workshop, I literally mean like a week or something filming in like they take you to a workshop and you've got like experienced directors. I can't remember who it was who he had. I think forgive me if people getting a golden comments and let us know. I think it might be someone like Alan Parker or just someone random. You know, like who did The Commitment, someone like that.
Yeah.
He was obviously a very, well-known director.
It's connected. So there's
a little bit,
connections there.
Yeah, a little bit of training. And when I say training, like, you're trying these things, like he's giving you feedback. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And then because, people have faith in him and the script. Reservoir Dogs, don't forget as well, was so low budget.
Yeah.
It's like $1.5 million. It's ridiculous. And all those, apart from Keitel, are unknown.
Yeah.
At the time.
Yeah.
Now they're famous. So when you get to Pulp Fiction, you've got Reservoir Dogs in your belt. You've got that experience. You've got that success. It wasn't massively financially successful, but review-wise. And you're going into it. And Bruce Willis, he did that for pennies.
Really?
Pulp Fiction launched Miramax. I think it was an $8 million film, which is mad to think that cost $8 million, even in '94, when you've got Bruce Willis in it. And it made like 200 million, and that gave the Weinsteins the money for Miramax to do their own thing,
right? Okay,
because that took them from there to there.
But even that in itself, and I'm a massive fan of people who challenge form or like structure of what a film's supposed to be like. But I'm always amazed that not only the genius on screen of what we're watching, but how you get that through signed off. Do you know what I mean?
No, you're right.
How do you get a non-linear film and say like, what? So it's not got the endings at the beginning. How do you get that? That in itself just shows it's a testament to the quality of the writing, really. Because
it's a good point now as well, because like I read a book on Harvey Weinstein before we all knew what he was like, and I read a book on. I think it's Down and Dirty Pictures by Peter Biskind, and he talks about Pulp Fiction and Harvey Weinstein's got the script, and someone's recommended it. So you got to read the scripts. It's by Tarantino. You got to read it. It's amazing. Yeah. And he's reading it and he's like, I love it. And then he rings him back and says, what the fuck just happened? The main character just died and I'm halfway through it.
Yeah.
What's going on? Like, that can't happen. He's like, just keep reading it. And he obviously comes back in the film later on. That sort of thing just was unheard of.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, he never
compromised. Nothing, it was art house. Do you know what I mean? Art house that went mainstream. And that's what I mean by it completely changed what was possible in mainstream cinema at the time.
Can you imagine that? Going and coming up with that and saying, I'm going to make this film novelistically rather than linear.
Yeah.
No, you're not. We're not doing that. And also, how many films you made? None. When he went into Reservoir Dogs.
I know, yeah.
Well, you're not doing that then. You do as you're told. But apparently, like, between those two films, between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction, he got offered, like, Speed and films like that. And he just said no, he wanted to make his own film.
Fair play to him.
And Pulp Fiction took him to... Because he could have, after Reservoir Dogs, been another talented young filmmaker who was a bit arty and maybe didn't quite...
Yeah.
But Pulp Fiction made him, for me, the biggest director of
I mean, that's him putting his
era.
balls on the table, and after that, it's like, I'm making whatever films
Yeah.
I want. I imagine that he knew that was the case, because had he took Speed, and Speed was a success, you know what I mean? But you're going back down the path of what the 90s films were, and then that sort of span. Because I don't think, when was Trainspotting, 96, I think?
Yeah,
that came off
96.
the back. And I'm not too sure how much... The Pulp Fiction definitely sort of paved the way for the films and stuff, 'cause a little bit more druggy, more violent and stuff. And I think...
Get away more, couldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, Pulp Fiction for me, and just the one-liners and stuff, like, where's Zed? Zed's dead, baby.
Yeah, little things like that.
You shot Marvin in the face. I love...
I didn't go over no motherfucking bump. I seen some crazy ass shit about time, and this thing's a fucking biscuit. Like,
But there's so many. I mean, that's without even getting like the cheeseburger and stuff like
yeah,
that.
like, little things like foot massages don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so, like, just the
And
dialogue.
I love the nods back as well, like the when Uma Thurman and John Travolta in the car and she does the square.
Yeah.
And like little quirks like that, I thought it was really interesting.
It's good as well, Nick, because, like, you know, you've got John Travolta dancing.
Yeah.
You know, guy Saturday Night Fever, Grease. You know, he's dancing on a stage.
But that was, I mean, and that's what it was. It was, I hate to call art, but it's postmodern, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's sort of like that references and stuff, and the like the little nods and like
Yeah.
you say, yeah, very postmodern sort of take on it. And it's like, you know, there's so many layers to it, and you think, hell yeah,
Yeah, and we take it for granted now.
yeah. Well, I don't think you can make that film with something like that again.
No.
Do you know what I mean? With like the structure of it, some of the things that goes on there. You're talking about a man getting fucking raped.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You're talking about, you know, someone shooting up heroin more graphically than you saw even in Trainspotting. You see him like drawing blood and like you never saw that on film.
No.
Do you know what I mean?
That was the first time you'd seen
yeah,
it.
like what is going on here? What is this?
Favorite character in Pulp Fiction?
That's a good question.
Who's your favorite character in Pulp Fiction? Make sure
I know it's not exactly original, but I do like Jules.
Yeah.
Samuel L. Jackson. It's just, you know, I love the fact as well that he has this like almost religious conversion, this like epiphany, like, and it's interesting in it because you don't see him again in the bits that would have come after that. You still see John Travolta and you still see Ving Rhames. You don't see him again. So there's that thing. Did he fuck off and do what he said he was going to do?
Like, was it came from Kung Fu?
Yeah.
Walk the earth.
Yeah. Like, I thought, mate, that had me looking for that bit in the Bible.
Oh, Exodus 25,
Yeah,
17,
Ezekiel
the
and all
path of
that.
the
Yeah, you did.
righteous man. Is it Ezekiel 25,
Yeah,
17?
like, and you know, 14-year-old lad looking in the Bible.
So Quentin Tarantino got you into God.
Yeah, well, that's one way of putting
Bless
it.
that man.
Yeah, bless him, yes.
Well, yeah, let's not turn it into a massive Pulp Fiction-a-thon, but what's in the suitcase?
The obvious answer would be gold on it, but I don't know, man.
You must have read all the theories about
Go on, is it plutonium or something? I don't know.
Plutonium.
I don't know.
Ving Rhames in no plutonium. Marcellus Wallace ain't in that, man. But there was like, it's his soul. Have you not heard that theory?
Oh, no.
Right, so there's a theory out there that they were like carrying around Marcellus Wallace's soul in the box, because if you look at the scene where he's talking on the phone, he's got a plaster on his back, at the back of his neck, and it's some, I think, Egyptian funeral service where they take out funeral service, like where you take the soul out of the out that way, and that's one of the theories, isn't it?
I've got it's mad you say this. I've got some. I'm gonna see if we can get it on the screen if I show. Do you know what? Can you show that on camera, on my camera? This was me in the studio. You see the background?
Yeah.
So that was me in the studio where I had a plaster on the back of my head and it dawned on me I look like Ving Rhames in Pulp Fiction. You see that? But I've never heard that film.
Yeah,
I've not read up on
loads.
Pulp Fiction for a while. I have to have a look.
Yeah.
Because I used to be well into that film and like into reading about it. But no, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
That.
One of my favorite scene in it is when he's giving her the adrenaline shot. Well, I got a fucking punch between. No, you ain't gonna hit it twice. You gotta hit it once, and that the drug dealer and that is fucking hilarious.
I love it when he goes,
the big marker.
Yeah. And he goes, which one's Sandy? Is that the one with all the shit on her face?
No, that's my wife. Truda.
Trudy, that's it. Sorry, Trudy. Rosanna Arquette, isn't it? It's like little cameos like that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolute quality film.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There's no debating that for me. Top tier. I'll mention it. I don't know if it would have been. I'll probably put it in now because we've spoken about it a lot. So we'll talk about it. Reservoir Dogs.
Yep.
The one that broke the mold. The first film I saw that wasn't linear. Ultra violent. Ears getting cut off. You know, people sat in pools of blood for a lot of the film. And do you know what? Is it Lawrence Turner who's Big Joe?
The old guy, yeah.
Love him. Love
He's
that
really
man.
good in that, yeah.
Have you ever read about him or watched videos about him? Absolute lunatic. He was an actor in the 50s. Like, an alcoholic, in and out of jail. Like, his favourite thing, going into a bar, get levered, beat up people in the bar, ring the coppers, say there's a fight going on in the bar, and the coppers would turn up and he'd beat them up as well. Just the loon. It's honestly a fascinating story. And him and Tarantino fell out massively He didn't like Tarantino's dialogue. He had trouble saying it. At one point, it looked like the film was just going to get kiboshed because they've got next to no budget. And you know what, Tarantino loved him from his days in the 50s, and this guy was just almost unmanageable.
Yeah.
You know, the cast used to take him out and get him levered because it was funny. And it's but he was just he's nicking things off the set. He was just crazy. But that film, it was so original, so good to watch. And it launched the careers of so many, didn't it? Like Michael Madsen, Tim Roth, Steve Buscemi. You know, these are all actors who went on to have great careers in the 90s, especially. And the soundtrack, Little Green Bag and stuff.
I love the DJ in that one.
Steve Wright, Steve Wright, the comedian. Like, he's probably one of the most famous people at the time, innit?
Yeah.
Obviously Harvey Keitel as well. It was just, it's just I love the flashbacks as well when you get in the backstory to him. It was just, I love that film.
Yeah.
I think it's a little, in a strange way, even though it's adult, at its time it was revered and all that, I think it's almost overlooked a little bit now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think people just Reservoir Dogs. I think if you watch that film, it's the start of it all, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, if that script's in another director's hands, if that makes it onto somebody else's desk at Hollywood, that's completely different.
Well, that's a good point, because it's like Tony Scott did True Romance, didn't it? And he made it linear. It wasn't linear.
Was it not when it was written?
No. Tarantino wrote it like Reservoir Dogs. So you're flicking back and forth and then finding out why these things have happened. Reservoir
Dogs is the better film out of the two.
Yeah. And
I do love True Romance.
I do. I love that film. But Tony Scott just made it linear. But with Reservoir Dogs, it's just, I mean, it's unreal, and there's just so many things in it that are like the Mr. Blonde character. I love it as well when they're picking names.
Yeah.
Like little things like...
Steve Buscemi's brilliant.
I'll be Mr. Purple. Yeah. He goes, no, fucking someone else on another job is Mr. Purple. You're Mr. Pink. And he goes, what about Mr. White? We'll trade. No one's fucking trading.
It's like a football manager picking positions. Listen, you're going in net. Why have I got to go in net?
It's like there's always humour in these films.
Yeah.
Even the cuts off his ear. Hello, can you hear that?
Yeah.
Apparently that was ad-libbed as well. But yeah, it's just...
That's what I love about Tarantino's. It can be the most psychopathic bastard in there, but they'll have like some humour. There's always a human side to them, whether it's through sense of humour or some sort of fragility that it shows in the characters. I love that.
It makes it more real, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of these are like cartoon-ish.
Yeah.
But there is that element. You think, you know what? And it's also that thing of a psycho, even a psycho like Mr. Blonde, Michael Madsen, who has a sense of humour, because he would.
Yeah.
Even if it's a sadistic one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That sort of
Psychos
side,
like to laugh.
Yeah, that side of things. It's not a one-dimensional, he's just evil, that's him. He's evil, but he's actually pretty funny in certain things he does, or do you know what I mean? Like little things like that. It was great, and it's a proper ensemble in it.
Yeah.
Like, I know, obviously, you've got Harvey Keitel as a big name in it, but he's not the main man, is he? They're all sort of equally in it. And it's just a little, like Chris Penn as well in it. You forget about him, Sean Penn's brother pops up, and
he's dead now, isn't he?
Yeah, he died. But he's great in that. Do you know what I mean? And it's just the whole film.
He's the right man, isn't he?
He's Joe's son, and he's like, and you can see this is all unraveling and what's going on here, and no one quite knows what's going on, and they're all arguing and stuff. It's just such a great film, and for that time, it was just so many things you'd not seen before that it was like, what's going on? I remember as a kid getting hold of a copy, me and my mate watching it. It was like about 12. You cannot, I think it was banned for a bit, and then you could get it on, and we got it, and we watched it like on repeat for about 4 hours or whatever. Oh, that was 4 hours, about 14 hours. Sorry, just loved it. It's just quality.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for. This is one of my favorite Tarantino films, but a lot of people didn't. I think because it came off the back of Pulp Fiction that many people didn't enjoy it as much, and that's Jackie Brown. That's right, and Jackie Brown was after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, it was in terms of his directing.
Yeah, and I really loved that. Like, I thought Pam Grier was sensational in that.
No arguments from me.
So many different, again, roles playing against type. We had like, Jane Fonda was in there, Robert De Niro, Bridget Fonda in there, Robert De Niro again playing like this. Waster and stoner. Samuel L. Jackson playing Samuel L. Jackson. What's that? But he brought another actor. Robert Forster, didn't
Stole the film.
Yeah.
Even though I love Pam Grier, Robert Forster, who only Tarantino would have cast, knew him from a film years ago. Was it Medium Cool or something like that? I'd seen him in like straight to video things and brought him into this.
Yeah.
Relaunched his career as well. But yeah, he was brilliant in that.
He's the calm.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Acting style as well as character in that film, where everything else is a little bit more chaotic. Michael Keaton as well, I thought was brilliant as the as the.
Me and you
FBI.
talked about this. Remember Ray
Yeah.
Nicolette? He
Yeah,
plays
yeah.
the same character in Out of Sight. Who else is it? Do you know who's in that film? You almost forget. Chris Tucker.
Chris Tucker, in it? Yeah. Wait, he goes, why have I got to go and get in the get in the boot?
Yeah, like again, the way it's structured, it's different in it, and the bit at the end where at the mall, that's going on. But no, I thought there was a maturity sort of settling in there with him, with what he was doing.
Yeah,
Do you know
I think
what I mean?
so. It wasn't. It didn't have the violence that
No.
Pulp Fiction did.
And it is a good film. I think you're right. I think he was always deemed a little bit with what he did after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean, it's like United off the back of the treble season.
Yeah. Oh, you only won the league that
Yeah.
year. Pathetic. And it's like you only produced one of the best films of the
Yeah,
year.
well, it's like when we talk about Godfather 3. If that film's on its own, it's all right.
Yeah.
But Jackie Brown, I think, is a stand-up film. But I think it's because it was more linear, wasn't it? Jackie Brown than Pulp Fiction.
Also, as well, again, this is Tarantino. People forget this. You go to a studio and you say, I want to cast Pam Grier in a film as my main lead.
Yeah,
No,
we've
that's
not done
it.
anything since Foxy Brown in the 70s.
I want to cast this 50-year-old African American as woman as the lead.
And she's sexy in that film,
Yeah, of
man.
course she is. And it's like, no studio. And any other directors just getting told to leave the room. Tarantino's like, yes, do what you want.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it works. It does. It is. I think it is a really intelligent and entertaining film as well. Again, it doesn't get some of the credit it props deserves because you're right. You nailed it.
It was a book, wasn't it, first?
Yeah, it's Rum Punch, I think, by Elmore Leonard.
Yeah.
Because Out of Sight is another Elmore Leonard book.
Right,
That's why
okay.
Ray Nicolette's in both of them.
Ah.
Because he's this, it's the same author.
Have you ever read any Elmore Leonard?
I haven't. I wouldn't mind.
I think I've got something about the Lotus Flower at home, but it's very sort of old school, sort of hard-boiled cop.
Oh, is it?
fiction. Yeah. I mean, it's very Pulp Fiction.
Right, yeah, makes sense. But no, I'm not. I wouldn't mind doing it. We'll get another thing to do on my list. But no,
Yeah.
I'm glad you picked Jackie Brown because I do think that's a very good film. Now it's my turn again, isn't it?
It is.
Do you know what I'm going to go with? This is a bit slightly controversial, but I'll go with it because he didn't like it, but he wrote it, and it's Natural Born Killers because Oliver Stone changed it that much that Tarantino hated it. So if you look at the credits, I think it's based on a story by Tarantino rather than written by.
Because he wanted to try and distance himself from it, right?
Yeah, he really wasn't happy with it because I've read the script to it. Because Tarantino released the scripts. He released all his scripts of his early work in like a book form, just like the actual script, not a novel. And I read that, and it is very different than the actual film itself.
Yeah.
The film is very Oliver Stone, quite odd in times. It's like there's certain things going on in it, like just the film techniques that he uses, like the story of Mickey and Mallory is told as a sitcom. Just remember that bit where. Mickey turns up delivering meat, and it's just weird. Where in the actual script, they're more normal. They're just a normal couple who I think it kicks off with he hears a noise in his house, goes downstairs with his gun and shoots the intruder or something, and realizes he likes killing people, and she goes along with him. It's very sort of much more normal, as a film, whereas Oliver Stone made it more sort of chaotic.
Does Oliver Stone? Did that come after Pulp Fiction?
Yes, I
So
think
do
it
you
was
think-
95.
How ironic then?
I think.
How ironic that Tarantino had written two scripts, and made it non-linear.
Yeah.
Written a script that was linear, and then Oliver Stone. Do you think that's
I think it was linear.
Do you think he was trying to be more Tarantino than Tarantino had actually put
I'm
in
not
the
sure. Yeah, I think it was linear. I think definitely Oliver Stone altered a lot of it, so much so that because Oliver Stone does some strange things in certain films, doesn't he? Like
Just remind some more Oliver Stone films.
like U-Turn. His most sort of structured films are like Platoon, Salvador, but then you've got Any Given Sunday. You've got what else is there? I'm trying to think because I like Oliver Stone. I'm trying to
Big films though. aren't
JFK.
they? Yeah.
JFK is a good example. We see all sorts of techniques in that: black and white, color, flashbacks, imagining things. He'll shoot something and show something that's been imagined, so it's not necessarily happened.
Yeah.
But in the film, you see it. Little things like that. There's just all sorts going on in Natural Born Killers. He changed a lot of the characters as well, and the way they are. And yeah, Tarantino just hated it.
But you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good film. I thought it was. It's not my favourite Tarantino film, and you probably wouldn't even call it a Tarantino film. But
I've never seen it.
Yeah, but I thought it is a good film.
I've heard the soundtrack though. One of it's Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, Natural Born Killers.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So it's very. There's parts of it that are strange, and he's added bits himself. Oliver Stone, like there's a bit
it's
about
the Woody Allen.
It would have been funny. Woody Allen was in it. Wouldn't it? It's a different film altogether. Woody Allen going around killing people. Yeah, it's Woody Harrelson and Juliette Lewis, who's
Juliette Lewis is brilliant, actually.
But apparently he went to watch it with her and left halfway through.
Really?
He took her to the cinema to go and see it.
Well,
because he knows her from like Dusk Till Dawn and all that.
Well, that's what I was going to mention next. What was Tarantino's involvement in Dusk Till Dawn? Did he write that or produce it?
He wrote it and starred in it.
And right, well, I'm going with that. I love that film.
That's a proper 2 hours of fun in it.
Oh, mate. Yeah, but because you know everything that Tarantino's done up until that point, I walked into that cinema and not got a Scooby-Doo.
Really?
Where these vampires are coming from. So you can imagine my fucking surprise when Salma Hayek starts, look at Salma Hayek up there doing all that naughty business. Yeah. What the fuck's going on? Salma! Oh, mate, yeah, I love it. Yeah. George Clooney in that was brilliant as well. I thought it was fantastic. And Tarantino himself acting as his psycho brother and stuff was really good.
Schizophrenic.
Harvey Keitel again, brilliant as the dad driving the RV with the son and daughter. He's a priest, isn't he? He's a religious man. And I really enjoyed Dusk Till Dawn. Cheech and Chong.
Oh, Cheech Martin, is it Marin Martin?
Where he does the...
plays 3 characters, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he does the intro, doesn't he? Where he's like, he starts labelling all the different types of pussies.
Yeah, you got black pussy, white pussy, big pussy, smelly pussy. Yeah.
Get him doing your adverts.
I love my favourite line is at the end where he goes to get him and all the vampires are exploding. And he says to him, because he obviously plays that other guy, Johnny Carlos, whatever, he goes, what were they, psychos? George Clooney says, no, they weren't psychos. Psychos don't explode when sunlight hits them. I don't care how fucking crazy they are.
Oh, man.
Because that's like it became a franchise, didn't it? Made loads of films like pretty low budget stuff.
Well, wasn't Robert Rodriguez involved in that?
Yeah, he directed it.
Yeah.
So he directed it. Tarantino wrote it. It was, I think he wrote it. Yeah, he did. It was an idea by the makeup artist, things like Richard Kurzman, whoever. He did it, Robert Kurzman, who did his makeup and stuff. Tarantino made it. It was like, the original idea was just like 2 guys on the run who stumble across this vampire den or whatever, and he made it into what it is.
I was listening to an interview with George Clooney the other week, and he was sort of saying that I think he just done Out of Sight, hadn't he, before that came out with...
it was around the same time. It might have been the other way around, to be honest with you.
He definitely done a major film before he did Dusk Till Dawn.
Right, okay. I think he did. I'm trying to think, because he did... He had a bit of a...
He was conscious that what was going to happen, he was going to get stereotyped into doing like certain roles.
Right.
And being like the handsome...
Oh, he did ER? He'd done ER.
No, he'd done ER, but he did something before. He did something between ER.
One Fine Day, is it maybe, with Michelle Pfeiffer?
No, that was after.
Was
that,
it?
Yeah.
Right.
But he was saying that the guy
wasn't Batman and Robin, was it?
No.
Right.
The guy who was interviewing him was saying that that was a bit of a risk, wasn't it? He goes, well, not really. You've got all these fucking actors. Tarantino's on such a hot streak and stuff, and it was something different that was sort of showing a different side to me. He puts a lot of credit down to that sort of film for his career going on. Because I'm a big George Clooney fan. I think he's a brilliant actor.
I agree. Michael Clayton's one of my favourite films.
Yeah,
ever.
Brilliant ending.
Yeah, love that, and he's great in it. No, it's easy. Again, he's a bit like it's easy like
the burden that like handsome people have to pay. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, mate.
Yeah, you've dealt with it so well.
I know.
And, it's never held you back at all, really, has it? Do you know what I mean? You've done well to weather that burden. Almost completely unnoticeable, to be honest with you. That's how well you've done it. Somehow managed to make it work. No, Dusk Till Dawn, yeah, a good sort of romp in it. Like, the only thing with Dusk Till Dawn is sometimes like I'm watching it and thinking, I get the vampire thing, like, but I like where it was going until then.
It could have been a different thing.
And I was a bit like, all right, then once it's the vampire, it's just this vampire thing.
There must have been at some point the conversation thinking, maybe we don't go down the vampire route
because it could have been them two.
Yeah. Because it had the hallmarks of, I don't know.
Yeah, just them two going to
Yeah.
Mexico. There could have been something there. And Tarantino and it's so good. Like that first.
But I
scene,
mean, I love that like zero fucks given. Nope, we're going to just throw a load of vampires in there and not who cares?
He's always like that though, isn't he, Tarantino? Like every film we've spoken about, there's been an element of just doing what he wants.
I mean, it's confidence. It's deserved confidence, and it's not come from. He's got his conviction.
But doing that in 40 minutes in, doing that in your first film as well.
Yeah.
Not conforming, not doing as you're told. Maybe we make this linear. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't cut his ear off.
Yeah.
Fuck off from doing that. Do you know what I mean? Take some guts. But you're right, deserve confidence.
That's 3 each.
I'll go with True Romance. Again, written, not directed by him. Tony Scott changed it a little bit, but I think he had Tarantino on board, whereas Stone and Tarantino hated each other. Not hated each other, Tarantino didn't like the film. Tony Scott, I think, even screened it for Tarantino and
Made sure that he was happy with it.
explained his decisions, because I think in the original script, Clarence dies at the end.
Right, really?
Yeah. Tony and Tarantino's fuming, like, "What? That's not the film I've written." And he was like, "Look, this is how I've done it." He loses his eye. There's a,
Nah, that would have fucking. They needed to go off in the sunset.
Yeah, I think the Tarantino idea was it just there goes off on her own. So, but I love it. I love this film so much. I love so many elements to it. Like, there's so many amazing. You know me, Scotty. I love a cameo.
Yeah,
I just fucking love a cameo. Not just cameo of the artist, but an actual cameo. And there's so many in this where you've got actors, you've got like small parts like Bronson Pinchot. Again, Chris Penn, great in this. Michael Madsen, I think it's Michael. No, Tom Sizemore's in it. As one of the coppers. Michael Rappaport.
I love Rappaport.
Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Brad Pitt in it.
The stoner, yeah.
Yeah.
Rappaport and on the couch as well.
But you know my favourite cameo in this one. I don't need to tell you. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Dennis Hopper.
Come on. You know. I'll give you a clue who my favourite cameo is in it. Sopranos.
Oh, James Gandolfini. Fucking hell, I forgot it was. Yeah.
You put James Gandolfini in a film and I'm watching it at least 7 times. And he's great in this, as always. But, you're right. Hopper's in it. Christopher Walken has got one scene.
Well, Hopper and Walken, when they're doing the when they talk about the Sicilian blood.
Yeah.
Oh my! Hopper's
making and killing.
Yeah.
Brilliant, utterly brilliant. I love that film. Just again, dead enjoyable. The bit at the end as well, where you have like the
Val Kilmer as well, isn't it?
Yeah, he plays Elvis.
Doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I love the two. You know what I love in that film as well? Like, you've got the movie producer and he's got his 2 security guards, bodyguards. And then, like, the coppers turn up. And he's like, the cops. And he goes, so what? They're cops. Who gives a shit? I fucking hate cops. And, like, I love that. It's just crazy. And, like, you got, like, obviously the coppers turn up, the gangsters. You've got the bodyguards. It's just the way it sort of culminates as well. Is great. And that whole thing of you talking to Elvis.
Yeah.
Like, just little things like that. It's crazy. Gary
like me
Oldman.
talking to
Gary
Jackie
Oldman's
Chan.
in it. Yeah. True Romance is my 4th.
Yeah. Christian Slater is brilliant.
Maybe a little bit underrated. Great cameo in Curb, by the way. Christian Slater. Have you ever seen that? Check that out.
I've not seen that. Next up, I'm going to go for Inglourious Bastards.
Oh, yes.
I really enjoyed that. I was talking before about like the change in Tarantino's films. I think post Kill Bill, they've always been great on the eye, but I think Inglourious Bastards, just the Alps at the beginning that sort of sets the scene. And it's his name, Waltz, Christopher Waltz, is just that broke his career really, because no one had heard of him up until that point. And then when he plays the head of the Nazis, the SS, he's just phenomenal. But just visually stunning. I think he's a little bit hammy at times, but I think that was purposeful. Like Brad Pitt's character and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was just like I like the way that he fucks around with history.
Yeah, because people get annoyed by that, don't they? Like,
I like that though.
Like that. Yeah.
We've seen the war films, what really happened, or people's interpretations of what really happened. You don't want Saving Private. You don't want like Quentin Tarantino to do Saving Private Ryan. I'm just going murdering private whatever.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? That's the mission. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Just visually, I think I thought that was sort of my major attraction to it.
It's quite a difficult line to walk. That you're making a film that deals with things like the Holocaust.
Yeah,
and you're adding a humour to it. You're adding a sort of keeping that suspense going. That bit at the beginning.
Oh
yeah. I mean, that's fucking harrowing.
Yeah.
When he says, they're hiding under the floorboards, aren't they? That
Now you tell me, yeah.
and now they obviously don't speak English because I can tell they've not reacted. That's fucking like I'm getting a bit like just thinking of that. Do you know what I mean? And the way he explains it, do you know what I mean? You'd be amazed at what people will do to avoid dying or whatever. I can't remember the exact line, but yeah. And then you've got the whole element of, just the humour in Brad Pitt and his gang going round just killing, Nazis and the things they do, and the Hitler in it is quite comical, isn't it? You know what I mean? Like
it was very similar to Once Upon a Time in America in the sense that it was building
in Hollywood.
Sorry, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It was building towards a big climax, and at the end again, you had the major sort of shooting. One of the best scenes in Inglourious Bastards is where they're all sat around the table and they're pretending to be German soldiers, and they've got guns underneath, and then it just all goes off.
Yeah, is it Michael Fassbender?
Yeah, Michael Fassbender's brilliant in that. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, and that is a great film. That is a great scene. Sorry, I love that, and it all kicks off in the basement. Yeah, a really good film. You've got so many different elements to that as well. Like you say, fucking with history. And just from an enjoyment point of view as well, Tarantino, sometimes we analyse it a little too much. Just sitting there and watching that film, it's an enjoyable film to watch.
Yeah.
There are parts in it where harrowing, parts in it are really funny. Some great performances. The young girl, I forget her name, who's the actress who plays the Jewish
French
girl who runs a cinema. It's really good. But Waltz steals that film.
Yeah, incredible.
I think he got Oscar, didn't he? An Oscar for it, and deservedly so, because he's just...
and who'd heard of him before that role, though?
No, again, Tarantino does his thing. I saw him in some film in Austria once, or whatever.
And then he goes
straight
to
DVD
to Bond villains.
Yeah,
roles, do you know what I mean? It's incredible.
Do you know what I mean?
He's got an eye, hasn't he?
He has. You know what? You're right. He has got an eye, and he gets these people like Robert Forster, whoever, Pam Grier, and gives them these roles, and they shine, and they steal the film, and it's great to see because no other director would do that.
Not in that lead role.
No.
Yeah, that would need a name.
Yeah, De Niro or someone comes in. I know he's used De Niro in the past, but you know what I mean for that one.
Yeah.
Whereas with Tarantino, you don't give a shit. He just casts who he thinks is best, and he can do that. Do you know what I mean? For my last one, I think this is this number 5 now, isn't it? I'm gonna go with Django Unchained.
Okay.
Because again, it's
just for the meme.
I had a little bit of an issue with it slightly, in that it's not. I know he screws with history, but I read up about him, like apparently slave owners didn't let the slaves fight against each other for money, didn't do that. He's created that because the slaves were too valuable a commodity for the owners to let them kill each other.
Yeah.
So they didn't do that. He's just made that up. He's added that bit in. But even so, I think you've got a film there which it is quite horror and it's quite graphic. There's so many though. Sometimes I think with Django Unchained, the individual scenes are better than the sum of its parts, if that makes sense. I think on the whole, as a film, sometimes it's
too long for me.
Yeah, it's long, and there's parts that I don't think quite work as well as others. But there's some scenes in that film which are amazing, and I'll tell you, like the two that stand out. There's one with the hoods and the Ku Klux Klan, which is just hilarious. They're arguing about wearing the hoods and they can't see and all this sort of stuff. And it's like, but my missus made these hoods. And he's like, listen, we appreciate what she did. And we're all going to, next time we'll wear them. And this time, and then they're all arguing. And again, it's quite dark. He's talking about these Ku Klux Klan guys. But it's funny. And it's great when they all get the comeuppance. And the other one, it's just DiCaprio scene where he talks about, he dissects the guy's skull.
Yeah.
And he talks about it, and obviously it's nonsense about the bumps in the cranium and all that. But it's just like a monologue by DiCaprio. But he's so good, and it's such a good. That's such a good scene. There's other scenes as well, and again, Christoph Waltz is fantastic in it. The first scene where he frees Django is brilliant when he kills the two guys. It's just there's so many scenes in it which I like.
Yeah.
And I think on the whole, I get what you mean about it's long. I think that there's parts in it does lag. I have a bit of an issue with the sort of. You've added this element to they beat each other to death, which isn't true, and it's quite horrific at times. I know Tarantino films are always violent, and he's proving a point here. He's showing something, but I just thought that's a bit.
But yeah, how's that different to what he did in Inglourious Bastards?
Because I think for starters, in Inglourious Bastards, you wrote in history almost in a
lampooning it rather
Lampooning
than
it.
being, whereas Django Unchained,
Hitler's dying. Goebbels is getting shot to death.
whereas Django Unchained was sort of seen more of a sort of, because it was so realistic. It was seen more as a sort of.
You've seen two men, beating each other to death, and it's. I get it because it's showing something as well, and it deals with slavery in a good way, in the sense of in a good way. It's showing the horrors of it, even though he's created this element to it. But there's a bit where he sets his dogs on the slave that tried to escape. That's quite. I know you don't see it fully, but it's pretty graphic, and those are the sort of things. The bit where he's been whipped, she's been whipped, she's been put in a hot box. These are things that went on in slavery. So there is that. But I think that because there's all these different scenes, it's not my favourite Tarantino film. It's probably my least favourite on my list, but there's enough scenes in it that make it entertaining for me.
I've only seen it once, and I wasn't that enamoured with it, to be honest.
I thought, for me, The Hateful Eight went too far.
Well, I agree with you, and I think that Django Unchained sort of was a precursor to The Hateful Eight, and I thought it was terrible film.
I thought it was a terrible film. It was just awful. Or everything about it, like... I know he uses the N-word a lot.
I wanted to ask about this, actually, because obviously Spike Lee throughout Quentin Tarantino's career has been one of his fiercest critics.
And it's weird because he worked with him, didn't he, on Girl 6?
Yeah.
He cast him, didn't he?
So what's your take on it?
I'd always sort of got it with Tarantino until The Hateful Eight, which I thought was just gratuitous. It was every other word at one point.
Yeah.
It was just...
It's like if you had a drinking game where someone said racist, you'd be levered by 10 minutes.
Yeah, you would, wouldn't you? And it's like... I don't get it. You're making a film about slavery. That's what they called it.
Yeah.
They called it, the slaves or whatever the white people called the black people. That word, I'm not even going to use it. I don't usually use it. But you know what word I mean, the M word. And I get that. It would have been silly for them not to say that because he's keeping that element true. But in The Hateful Eight, it was just every other word, and the film on its own, I just thought was, and also like all the worst. It's like all the worst elements to Tarantino almost for no reason.
Yeah,
it's just like there's constant violence, there's gratuitous like male on male sexual assault. There's just loads going on like that. You just think it's almost like he's took the things that he didn't want to put in other films because it was too much and put them all in this.
Yeah,
and it doesn't really work. It's not a very entertaining film. It's just. I mean, I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. I like Kurt Russell, but even he can't save it. I just think it's just not a good film. And I think that if that would have been Tarantino's first film,
then he doesn't get a career that he's had now.
I do. I just think it's just not good. No. I know that's not the most insightful critique of a Tarantino film, but I think it's really, really bad.
We live in an age where you need to be concise with your reviews. Not good.
Not good. That'll be the blurb on the DVD. Not good.
Jay Motter. Right, last one. I'm going to go for Kill Bill, as I'm struggling for any more Tarantino films.
I think we might have done them all, to be honest with you. So
are we having Kill Bill 1 and 2 wrapped into one?
Are you having? I'll give you that.
I admired his chutzpah, should we say?
Nice.
To go into, a form of film that he'd never done before, but his massive admiration of martial arts films. So that in itself, again, just sort of shows the kahunas on the big kahuna burger.
Yes, it all comes full circle.
Yeah, that he has in him to think, all right, well, I'm Quentin Tarantino. I've always wanted to make a kung fu film. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Who are you going to play? I'm going to Uma Thurman playing a fucking lead role. Where's that? And she's going to drive a van called the Pussy Wagon, and she's going to be in a yellow Bruce Lee suit, and she's going to have a samurai sword. What? All right, Quentin, you just come back in 2 years, we'll make money. And that's what happens. And again, he casts, what's the main bad guy in Kill Bill, the actor?
David Carradine, is it? Or Robert Carradine, one of them.
Yeah, again, another one whose career was sort of on
he was
the way.
in Kung Fu, one of the TV show in the 70s.
Yeah, but his career had sort of fell off massively by the wayside. Again, bringing back people like Michael Myers and stuff. I actually preferred the second one to the first one because I think it felt more dialogue heavy, the second one where she's getting
it was one film, wasn't it? Originally, it was Harvey Weinstein, wasn't it? He made him, convinced him to split.
I mean, it would have been like 6 hours.
Yeah, it was like you can't have this as one film. Like,
no,
come on.
You could put it like into a series. I mean, I had that problem with The Irishman. I wish The Irishman had gone in like had been a series.
I had to give it like 3 goes. I fell asleep twice watching that. That's not a reflection of the film. It's a good film, but it's so long.
It's very long.
And my missus went into it, so I watched it late at night on my own. I thought I'll watch it when you go to bed. And I'm usually a bit of a night owl, but I was putting it on at like 11:30, and 2:30. It's only like not even nearly finished.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about The Irishman another time. But any last words on Kill Bill or Quentin Tarantino?
Kill Bill, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little bit disappointed with. It wasn't one of my favourite ones. Some good parts in it, as always. And it is what it is. It's ridiculous in some of the action sequences and the, Uma Thurman fighting like 100 people, and there's elements to it that just, I know, again, you have to suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
But there's certain bits that don't work at all. There's certain bits that do. Again, there's
Where
always...
she's buried under the dirt, I thought was really good.
There's certain little scenes. I quite like Daryl Hannah in it.
Yeah.
Against type, that's Madison, the mermaid.
Yeah.
Who's evil in it. But I thought she was
Neil Young's wife, that,
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Neil Young. In fact, they've got 20 years between them, Neil Young's wife.
Can I tell you something as well before we end? I met Tarantino once.
What? We wait till the end?
Nah, it's not the best story I've got. I met him in Soho. I was walking down the street in Soho, seen Quentin Tarantino, because he stands out like a sore thumb because he's massive and he's Tarantino. And I was like, oh my God, it's Tarantino. And he's like, I said, can I have your autograph? And he went, I'm walking. You get a pen and paper, you can have it, but I'm walking. So I ran in a bakery and I grabbed a brown paper bag and a pen that they were using. I don't even think I asked, I just fucking grabbed it, ran after him, and he signed it, just a big Q and a squiggle. I fucking lost it.
Oh, man.
Not that it didn't worth much, but doing good for me.
You've met Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, I met him, and it was like, oh my God, that's Quentin Tarantino. When I was in London, it was mad. But this was probably about 2000-ish, so 2001-ish. But yeah.
Cool, man. On that note of Jay shoplifting to get a celebrity's autograph, we shall call it a night. Let us know your favourite Quentin Tarantino films or any thoughts on the show tonight. If you've got any suggestions about what you'd like us to do top fives on, nothing is off the table, can be random as hell. Get involved. But thank you so much for watching, making sure you're subscribing and hit the like button. Anything else I forgot?
No, you've done well there, haven't you?
Nice.
You've done really well.
2 games in, back in business. Catch you soon.
Professional.